Think about it, enlightenment, that deep understanding. It doesn't always, hit you like lightning.
No, not at all.
Sometimes it just sort of whispers, like in the middle of a family drama or maybe seeing something unexpected at a wedding.
Absolutely. And that's really where we're heading today.
Exactly. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking into some really old stories, excerpts from the Khadiravaniyarevatatthera Vatthu and the Khadiravaniyarevatatthera Vatthu.
Right. These are basically historical accounts.
Yeah, and we're unpacking the journey of Khadiravaniyarevatatthera, or Revata for short. Our mission really is to dig into his story.
Find those key moments, understand how he got these deep insights and reached enlightenment, even with all the stuff going on around him.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Revata's family. Wow. His older brother was Sāriputta.
A very big name, a major disciple.
And apparently the family had considerable wealth.
Which kind of puts things in perspective, doesn't it? What they felt they were losing as kids chose the monastic path.
Totally. And Sāriputta had already ordained 3 sisters, Kala, Upakala, Sisupakala, and 2 other brothers, Kunda and Upasena. So Revata was the last one left at home.
You can imagine the mother's position.
Right. She's thinking, okay, if he goes too, that's it for the family line, the wealth.
It's a very human worry, family continuity, keeping things going.
Definitely. So she decides, right, got to get him married. And here's the kicker. He was only 7.
7. Wow. That really tells you how urgent she felt it was.
Doesn't it? The cultural pressure, maybe. Her own anxiety.
For sure.
Now, Sāriputta, being Sāriputta, sort of saw this coming, it seems. He told the monks, look, if Revata shows up wanting to be ordained, just do it. Don't ask mom and dad. I'll handle it.
Interesting. Taking responsibility like that.
Yeah, it's like he's prioritizing Revata's potential spiritual path over, well, maybe upsetting his parents. It shows a bit of tension, maybe, between family duty and the call to renounce.
That's a great point. That conflict between worldly life and spiritual aims, even right inside a family.
So, fast forward. The mother arranges the marriage, pseudo family, all that. And during the pre-wedding stuff, relatives are giving blessings to the bride-to-be. The usual things, wishing her well.
Right.
And part of the blessing was, may you see the Dhamma, as your grandmother did, and may you live long like your grandmother. Dhamma here meaning basically the Buddha's teachings, understanding reality.
A standard kind of blessing, wishing her wisdom and a long life based on an elder.
Exactly. But little Revata hears this, and something clicks. He gets curious. This Dhamma the grandmother saw. Which grandmother is that?
Just a simple question from a kid.
But it's the one that changes everything, so they show him the grandmother-in-law.
And what does he see?
A woman who's 120 years old. Broken teeth, gray hair, wrinkles, age spots, bent over. The works, really showing her age.
Wow. A very stark image of old age. No sugarcoating.
And Revata asks, so will my bride look like that if she lives long enough?
The obvious but profound question.
And they say, well, yeah, if she lives that long, she will.
And that was it. The moment of insight.
That seems to be the trigger. Confronting that reality, you know, impermanence, seeing decline right there in front of him.
It's a core Buddhist idea, isn't it, Annika? Nothing lasts. Seeing that clearly can really shake you up, push you to look deeper.
It definitely did for him. The text says right then he realized the truth about aging, about the body not lasting. It echoed the kind of wisdom his brother Upatissa Sāriputta had found. And just like that, 7 years old, he decides, I need to renounce. I need to leave this life. Imagine that. The clarity, the courage.
It really shows how insight can strike anyone, anytime, if the mind is ready, even in mundane moments.
So the wedding party moves on, heading to the bride's place. Revata's in the palanquin with the girl.
But his mind is elsewhere now.
Totally. He's colliding his escape. Starts making excuses. Got to go to the bathroom. Gets out, comes back, does it again.
Testing the waters, seeing how closely they're watching.
Smart kid. Then one last time, same excuse. Tells him, you guys go on, I'll catch up. And poof, he slips away into the woods. Gone.
Driven by that powerful realization about impermanence.
He finds about 30 monks living nearby and asks them to ordain him.
They must have been surprised.
Yeah, they hesitated. Here's this little kid, dressed in fine clothes. They don't know him, probably wondering if it's genuine.
Right. They need to be cautious, discern his real motive.
So Revata tells him who he is. I'm Upatissa's youngest brother.
Which might not have meant much initially.
Apparently not. But then he clarifies, you probably know my brother of Varaputta.
Ah. That name they'd recognize.
Exactly. As soon as they confirm it's the Sāriputta's brother, they're like, okay. Take off his fancy ornaments, put them aside, ordain him right there, and send word to Sāriputta.
Sāriputta must have been so pleased his little brother following the path.
Oh, he was. He immediately asked the Buddha, can I go see Revata?
And the Buddha says,
Not yet. Wait. Sāriputta asks again a bit later. Buddha says, still wait. We'll go too.
Interesting. The Buddha often had layers to his timing, didn't he? Maybe letting Revata settle in, that seems likely, giving him space to establish his practice.
Meanwhile, Revata, now a novice monk, is worried his family will find him.
Right, the wedding escape.
So he learns the meditation subjects from the monks, grabs his bowl and robes, and just walks.
He leaves them behind.
Yep. Walks 30 leagues. That's a long way to the Khadiravaniyarevatatthera, the acacia forest.
Okay.
And here's the amazing part. Within just 3 months, the rainy season retreat, living alone in that forest, he attains arhatship, full enlightenment, plus the parisampati, the analytical knowledges.
But quickly, all alone.
All alone. Just pure dedication, it seems. That really highlights individual effort, doesn't it? Going against the grain for that deeper understanding.
A truly remarkable achievement, especially so young. Shows what focused practice can do.
So Rain's retreat ends. Sāriputta asks the Buddha again, can we go see Revata now?
And this time?
This time, yes. And the Buddha says, I'm coming too. And not just him, 500 monks.
A huge group. That's significant. A real recognition of Revata's attainment.
Definitely. So they're planning the trip, and Ananda asks about the route. 2 choices. 60 leagues through towns and villages, or a shorter 30-league route, but straight through wilderness, uninhabited.
Convenience versus directness, basically.
Right. And the Buddha asks this question. Seems out of the blue. Ananda, is Sīvalī with us?
Sīvalī. Okay, another monk.
Ananda says yes, Sīvalī is in the group. And the Buddha immediately says, okay, we take the short route, the wilderness.
Huh. Why? What's the connection with Sīvalī?
Well, this is fascinating. The Buddha knew Sīvalī had, let's say, a massive amount of good karma or merit from past lives.
Merit, like spiritual credit.
Kinda, yeah. Good deeds accumulate this positive energy that leads to good results. And Sīvalī was famous for receiving tons of offerings, like stuff just appeared for him.
Okay.
So the Buddha knew this uninhabited path was where Sīvalī's merit could really shine, could manifest. He chose it specifically for that reason.
So our past actions can literally shape the world around us, or at least our experience of it. That's a core idea here.
Exactly. It's karma in action, cause and effect across lifetimes.
Wow, okay.
And sure enough, as they're walking this wilderness route, bam, every league, deities, gods, whatever you want to call them, knowing Sīvalī is there, create these pop-up monasteries.
Seriously? Temporary monasteries?
Yep. Complete with divine food, everything the Buddha and all 500 monks need, all because of Sīvalī's merit.
That's incredible. So does merit get used up, or...?
That's a deep question. It's more like the positive force generates these results. The specific effect might end, but accumulating merit builds this powerful positive momentum. Good things keep happening.
I see. Okay.
So while this is happening on the road, Revata gets word the Buddha is coming, and he prepares in a big way. He creates a gandhakudi, a special perfume chamber just for the Buddha, plus 500 little huts or tullings, 500 walking paths, 500 places for rest day and night for all the monks.
500. How did he manage that?
Well, remember, he's an arhat now. Enlightened beings are said to sometimes have these kinds of abilities, these cities. But it also shows his deep respect, right?
Absolutely. Deep reverence.
So the Buddha arrives, stays near Revata for about a month, and the whole time, the entire Sangha is just showered with provisions, all thanks to Sīvalī's merit field.
An amazing convergence of events.
But not everyone sees it clearly.
What?
Which leads to this next bit, about how happiness isn't really about the outside stuff.
Right. It's about the inner state, how we perceive things.
Exactly. So 2 older monks in the group see all of Revata's preparations, the huts, the paths, and they get judgmental. They start thinking, this kid's too attached to comfort. He can't really be living the simple monk's life. The Buddha's only here because he's Sāriputta's brother.
No, dear. Jumping to conclusions based on appearances, it happens.
It does. Our own biases can really color things.
For sure.
Now, the Buddha, of course, knows what they're thinking, so he arranges a little object lesson.
Uh-oh. What does he do?
Gently, subtly, when it's time to leave, he causes these 2 monks to forget their stuff. Their oil pot, water pot, sandals, left behind.
Huh. A classic mindful intervention.
Right. So they have to turn back. go searching for their things among all those thorny acacia trees in the Khadiravana forest.
Not pleasant, I imagine.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And while they're struggling through the thorns, it hits them, their mistake. This desolate place inspired this level of devotion and attainment in Revata. Their physical discomfort kind of mirrored their own thorny thoughts.
The outer reflecting the inner. A powerful teaching moment.
So later, they're back at another monastery, Puparama. And Visakha, a really important Lee supporter, asks them about Khadiravana.
And what do they say?
These two elders give it a terrible review. Oh, it's awful, like a ghost town, all thorny trees. Their perception totally colored by their bad experience looking for their lost sandals.
Wow. Shows how our state of mind paints our reality.
But then, two younger monks who were also there talked to Visakha. And their description.
Completely different.
Night and day. It was beautiful, like a divine palace, like it was made by magic. They saw the place through different eyes, maybe more open to the spiritual vibe.
The power of perspective. Same place, two realities.
Visakha, being sharp, picks up on this contradiction. She figures, okay, the first monks must be talking about their own rough experience, maybe influenced by the Buddha. The second group saw Revara's creation, his manifested space.
Smart lady. She didn't just accept one version.
Nope. She decides to ask the Buddha directly next time he visits. Get it from the source.
Good move.
So the Buddha comes. Visakha asks, what's the deal with Khadiravana? Why the different stories?
The Buddha's answer.
He gives this amazing verse in the Dhammapada. Basically says, village or forest, low ground or high, wherever arhats live, that place is delightful.
Shifting the focus entirely. It's not the place, it's the person.
Exactly. He explains arhats always have mental seclusion, inner peace, even in a busy village. Outside stuff doesn't disturb them. So wherever an enlightened being is, that presence makes the place wonderful. The delight is internal.
That's profound. True happiness isn't location-dependent. It's mind-dependent.
Right. It really flips the script on what makes a place good or bad.
A powerful lesson in inner transformation.
Okay, so the story shifts again here. The monks start talking amongst themselves about Sīvalī.
The monk whose merit provided everything.
Yeah, him. They're puzzled. Why did he have such a weird mix? Like spending ages in his mother's womb, apparently suffering in hell at some point, but then having this incredible luck and abundance. It seems contradictory.
It does raise questions. A life with such extremes of karma.
So they ask the Buddha,
Uh-huh.
and he tells them Sīvalī's backstory, which means going way, way back.
Okay, strap in. How far back?
91 eons, an unimaginable amount of time. Back to the time of a previous Buddha, a Vasibuddha.
Wow. Okay.
So back then, a king made a huge offering to Vasibuddha and all the monks. But the townspeople wanted to outdo the king, so they invited the Buddha and monks for the next day, promising an even better offering.
Competitive generosity.
Seems like it. It became this cycle. King, then citizens, each trying to top the other with bigger, better offerings.
Humans being humans, even in devotion.
So on the sixth round, the citizens are planning this massive feast. They've got everything except fresh honey.
The one missing ingredient.
Right. So they send out huge search parties, 1,000 men to each of the 4 city gates. Find fresh honey.
That's a lot of effort for honey. Shows how serious they were about making it perfect.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, a guy from the countryside finds a honeycomb, takes it, heads into the city, planning to give it to some local official.
Okay.
But one of the honey searchers spots him, offers to buy it. The country guy says no, figures he can haggle for more.
Commerce enters the picture.
Yep. They go back and forth, price goes up and up, until the city guy offers 1,000 coins and explains, look, this is for the big offering to the Buddha. It's the only thing we're missing.
1,000 coins for honey. Wow.
And hearing that it's for the Buddha, the countryman's whole attitude changes.
Yeah.
He says, keep your money. Just let me share in the merit of the offering. Let me give the honey.
Beautiful. He chose spiritual reward over cash.
Exactly. The citizens agree, obviously. So they present all the food. They squeeze the honeycomb into a big gold bowl. The countryman adds some curdled milk he had, offers the mix to the Buddha and the Sangha. And here's the miracle part. That small amount of honey and curd, it's enough for everyone. Hundreds, maybe thousands of monks. And there's even some left over. All due to the Buddha's power and the purity of the offering.
The intention amplifying the gift. Incredible.
So that countryman, that was Sīvalī in a past life. Because of that act, he was reborn in heaven, had good fortune for ages.
Okay, that explains the good luck part. But what about the suffering, the delayed birth?
Right. The Buddha explains that later, Sīvalī was reborn as a king. And this king besieged another city for 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days.
Exactly, mirroring his time in the womb.
Precisely. The Buddha said that delay was the karmic result, the consequence of him delaying the offering to Vipassi Buddha by haggling over the honey price initially.
Wow. Even a small hesitation had such a long-lasting echo.
Seems so. And the suffering in hell, and that final long gestation, that came from when, as the besieging king, he ordered the gates of the enemy city shut, cutting off their supplies. Causing suffering brought suffering back to him.
A very direct karmic lesson there. Harm leads to harm.
Exactly. But the reason he had all that incredible good fortune at Sīvalī, the reason the deities provided everything on the trip to Revata,
The honey offering.
that meritorious offering of fresh honey given with pure devotion 91 eons ago, that was the cause of all the abundance.
So it all connects. The good fortune on the journey wasn't random at all. It was Sīvalī's past generosity bearing fruit right when it was needed.
Perfectly put. It shows how interconnected things are in this view. Past actions creating present reality.
Fascinating.
So finally, the monks are just amazed by Rovara again, thinking about how this young guy had the merit or power to create all those dwellings for them.
Right, back to Revata.
And the Buddha, reading their minds again, says something profound. He calls Revara his son, his spiritual son, and says he's gone beyond both merit and demerit, good and bad karma.
Beyond duality.
Right. Then he quotes another Dhammapada verse. He who's gone beyond good and evil, sorrowless, stainless, pure him, I call a Brahmanj, a true holy person.
So Revara's enlightenment put him in a state beyond the usual karmic cycles, a state of purity and freedom.
Exactly. So wrapping up this deep dive into Revara, what are the big takeaways?
Well, his early renunciation, right, sparked by that sudden insight into impermanence from just seeing the old woman.
Yeah, from such an ordinary yet profound moment.
Then his intense solo practice leading to enlightenment so quickly, dedication pays off.
And that huge lesson about delight, right? True happiness isn't the place, it's the mind. An arhat makes any place delightful.
It really encourages us to look past the surface, doesn't it? To see the power of our own inner state.
It does. It reminds us that potential for deep understanding, for peace, is right here inside us, no matter what's going on outside. And maybe for you listening, Revara's journey makes you think. What really makes an experience delightful for you? Can you cultivate that inner delightful land, that peace, wherever you are?
Yeah, even amidst challenges or boring routines.
What's your grandmother's seen Dhamma? What insights might be waiting for you if you just, look closely at the everyday stuff?
Definitely something to ponder, finding that extraordinary in the ordinary.